You have all the controls. We don't need to do anything, right?
कुछ खामोश है ये शहर, कुछ दहशत में है फिजा, सन्नाटों में भी शोर है, एक जंग छिड़ी चारों ओर है, मायूस होता है तो क्यों, डर डर के क्यों जीता है, वक्त का क्या है टल जाएगा, ये मंजर फिर बदल जाएगा। जो न रहा वो कल रहेगा ना भी ये पल।
Well, congratulations to our student performers and to the Scottish High International School community, especially Ms. Renuka Basin for sharing such an inspiring performance for today's inauguration. A very warm welcome to all of our friends and guests joining from around the world. Welcome from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm Jim McLaughlin, co-chair of the IC3 movement. And on behalf of the entire IC3 family, I'm honored to officially welcome you to the first ever IC3 festival. And for many of you, this is your first IC3 experience. And I just want to say welcome to the family. IC3 exists for one simple reason, and that is to bring counseling to every school. And not just to the most well-known or best resourced schools, but every school. Public, private, big, small, local, national, international, every school. And to do this, the IC3 movement has set out to train 100,000 school-based career and college counselors over a 15-year period through the IC3 Institute, which is an established nonprofit organization based here in the United States. And this is what brings us together today and this week. Now, today is the second day of 4 packed days at the IC3 Festival of connecting, learning, and celebrating this mission. And together, we're welcoming more than 1,500 delegates from more than 60 countries. And this is truly amazing. And 2020 has been an extraordinary year. And I think that's probably a huge understatement. And I want to just congratulate each one of you for persevering, for holding your hope high, for being a beacon for your students, and just for being here, dedicating time and energy to your continuous learning. We're all in for a fantastic week. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce 3 extremely distinguished guests of honor who will join Mr. Ganesh Kohli, of course, founder of the IC3 movement, in the ceremonial lamp lighting to inaugurate the first ever IC3 festival. Dr. Samuel L. Stanley Jr., President, Michigan State University, United States.
Good morning.
Dr. Stanley, welcome Dr. Stanley, and I'll just share a few words about each of our distinguished guests. Dr. Stanley is Michigan State University's 21st president. And in this position, he decisively ensures that the university is a safe, respectful, and welcoming place for all. Before this role, Dr. Stanley served as president of Stony Brook University on Long Island in New York, where he recorded the most successful fundraising year in the university's history. Born in Seattle, Dr. Stanley earned a Bachelor of Arts in Biological Sciences, Phi Beta Kappa, from the University of Chicago. A distinguished biomedical researcher, Dr. Stanley was one of the nation's top recipients of support from the National Institutes of Health for his research focusing on enhanced defense against emerging infectious diseases. Dr. Stanley also advises the US government on issues related to the communication, dissemination, and performance of sensitive biological research. Very timely. Welcome, Dr. Stanley.
Thank you so much. It's really so nice to be with you today, and Michigan State University is really pleased to be a platinum sponsor of the IC3 Festival to support sustainable school-based career and college guidance for high schools in India and around the world. And international students are such an important part of our community. We really value the opportunity again to engage with you in this so important work. So thank you for having me today, and it's a pleasure to be part of this very distinguished group.
Thank you, Dr. Stanley. It's my pleasure also to welcome Mr. Sunal Kant Munjal, Chancellor, BML Munjal University and Chairman, Hero Enterprise. Welcome, Mr. Munjal. And Mr. Munjal is one of the founder promoters of the Hero Group, India's premier automotive manufacturing group. He's the chairman of Hero Enterprise and also supports startups on digital learning, community transportation, healthcare, women empowerment, and education. He chairs the board that runs the Dune School and sits on the boards of the IIM Ahmedabad, ISB, and SRCC. He's co-founded BML Munjal University and is president of the Dayanand Medical College and Hospital in Ludhiana. He's also served as president of the CII and AIMA and has been a member of the Prime Minister's Council on Trade and Industry and was on government task forces that prepared the ground for India's banking and insurance reforms. Mr. Munjal has set up the Serendipity Arts Foundation, which aims to revive the patronage in the arts. Very, very warm welcome, Mr. Munjal.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And
so happy
my
to have you.
compliments to you and to Ganesh for setting up a wonderful initiative. This is true public service, helping the planet's future get a better direction and anchor themselves to what is their true potential. Good luck and good wishes.
Thank you, Mr. Munjal. And
thank you.
And finally, it's my pleasure to introduce Colonel Gopal Karunakaran, Chief Executive Officer, Shiv Nadar University, and Chief Executive Officer, Shiv Nadar School, and President, Shiv Nadar University. Colonel Gopal is an MPhil and an MA from Madras University. While with the Indian Army, he was chosen for the United Nations missions in Kuwait in a multilateral and multicultural environment. Colonel Gopal's belief in education as a tool for social transformation has driven him to absorb a rich and diverse experience across all facets of school education, including policy, academic leadership, operations and business. And this has helped him gain an important perspective on the key drivers of the education sector in India. A member of the National Committee of Education of the Confederation of Indian Industry since 2008, Colonel Gopal was part of the team which formulated draft proposals to the government on the Right to Education Act. A very, very warm welcome to you, Colonel Gopal.
Thank you very much, IC3, Ganesh, particularly Jim. It's a pleasure to be here, and we consider it a huge privilege, both at the Shiv Nadar University as well as the Shiv Nadar schools, to have been associated with IC3. And like Mr. Munjal said, it's an amazing movement, much needed for India, and we really value what you're doing for India in this, and maybe now for the world. So it's fantastic that what you're doing. It's a pleasure to be here.
The pleasure is ours, Colonel Gopal. And in the spirit of togetherness, in dispensing darkness and ignorance, leading towards knowledge and awareness, I now invite Dr. Stanley, Mr. Munjal, and Colonel Gopal to join Mr. Ganesh Kohli in the lighting of the lamps. The first time ever virtually.
There you go. Sure.
Well, thank you, Dr. Stanley, Mr. Munjal, and Colonel Gopal. What a huge honor to have you with us today. And thank you again for your continued support of the mission to bring counseling in every school globally. We look forward to welcoming you again, hopefully very soon.
And hopefully in person.
And in person, yes, that's right.
And the BML Munjal University is happy to be involved in such initiatives.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Dr. Stanley, I'd like to have a conversation with you sometime. I'm going to ask my office to set up time if you have some time sometime.
That would be wonderful. It'd be wonderful to talk with you, of course. Thank you. I will reach out.
On email. We can just send get the contact shared. That would be lovely.
We would like that.
Perfect.
Thank you again. Thank you again.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
The IC3 movement is empowering schools through collective leadership and action. And it would not be possible to work actively toward the mission of counseling in every school without those institutions, organizations, and individuals who support the movement. And I would like to express my most sincere gratitude to all IC3 Festival sponsors and partners. Platinum sponsors, Michigan State University and Shiv Nadar University. Annual IC3 Awards sponsor, BML Munjal University. Gold sponsors, Atria University, La Roche Global Hospitality Education, and Plaksha University. Mobile app sponsor, Flame University. Silver sponsors, Education in Ireland, Kriya University, Shulani University. Sustainability partner, Ahmedabad University. Virtual University exhibit sponsors, Chinmaya Vishwavidyapith and the University of Western Australia. Virtual workshops for counselors sponsors, Huron at Western and Technion, Israel Institute of Technology. Content partners, AFS Intercultural Programs, Cambridge Assessment International Education, IIE, the Institute of International Education, and NACAC, the National Association for College Admission Counseling. Wellness partner, the AHA Movement. Media production partner, Go Create Academy. And the IC3 Festival is supported by KIC UniVassist. So please join me in thanking all of the festival sponsors and partners, and I encourage you to seek them out today and throughout the week. Search their organization names in the networking feature and send them a message. Visit their virtual rooms of all of the sponsors and exhibitors throughout the week. And these institutions and organizations are truly committed to empowering schools. And I also want to specially thank and acknowledge the entire IC3 family of host schools globally. Now, once we're back in person, I know we'll all enjoy having the chance to visit you again during the annual IC3 conference week, and of course the regional forums from January through May when we're able to resume. And thank you for all that you have done and continue to do. And I'd also like to note that all of the student performances featured at the festival this week come from the IC3 Global Host Schools. I want to express my gratitude to every school delegate who is here at the festival. With special admiration for school principals and leadership for supporting development and training of your teachers and counselors. We're so happy to have you here, but I'm asking that we need you to help us sensitize our fellow school leaders across the globe to the critical need of counseling in schools. That is why we are here this week. And to our university delegates, thank you. Your presence alone is a testament to your commitment to the counseling-based approach. And it's important for all of us to recognize that it's because of the support by the university community that the festival platform this week is openly accessible to any full-time high school employee around the world at no cost. And registration will remain open for them throughout this week. And this is a huge deal. So thank you to the entire university community. I encourage every school delegate to visit 40 to 50 virtual rooms during tomorrow's virtual university exhibits event. Get to know these amazing educators. And of course, the IC3 movement is a volunteer-driven effort at its core. There are more than 300 volunteers across all of the IC3 leadership committees, and these dedicated volunteers truly are the backbone of the IC3 movement. And I just want to offer as one of the first volunteers, my very personal thank you to each and every one of you, every one of the IC3 volunteers for their selflessness and for their love. And I invite everyone here to consider serving. We need you. We need your leadership and we need your guidance. Now, this week is really all about you. So we want you to make the most of this 4-day experience. And the overall theme of the festival, as you've seen, is change. And we're all changing. So let's help each other change with intention, with love, with purpose. And the cultural theme of the festival is harmony and one world. And you'll see this come through in the various student performances featured throughout the week. Now, the IC3 Festival is as close as you can come to the in-person annual conference. And I just have a few recommendations about how to make the most of it. Firstly, set up your profiles in the platform if you haven't already done that to fully engage. This means adding your photo, add your title, your designation, your school or university name. We want you to be able to be acknowledged, recognized, and to connect. Spend time to fully plan your schedule. Now, one of the best ways to do this is to download the IC3 Festival mobile app, where you can send and receive meeting requests. You can request and exchange contact information. That's the main place where that contact information exchange is going to happen. You can exchange information with new friends, colleagues, and of course, exhibitors as well. And there are really amazing events on each day, so you have to plan accordingly. Today, for example, is the IC3 Live Convention Day. Attend the discussion forums and engage. These are not meant as one-way presentations. These are meant as conversations and really interactions. That's how they're built. You can get concise updates on what's changed in many countries around the world during the Around the World in 60 Minutes sessions later today. I encourage you to participate actively in the affinity group T-chats happening later today for facilitated dialogue on areas of shared interests. So there's so many ways that you can connect. And tomorrow, the focus is on the virtual university exhibits, where school delegates can actually visit in person and face-to-face with all of the universities represented at the festival. This is your chance to explore. And as I said before, please, I'm challenging you to meet with 40 to 50 universities during that period of time. But I'll also say save a little bit of energy for Friday, because that is going to be an amazing day. It kicks off with, of course, networking, and we'll have innovation spotlights, which are 30-minute sessions hitting on what's next for schools. What's the future for the field of education? And make sure the IC3 Awards presentation is on your calendar. This will truly be an amazing celebration of counseling. This is not just a webinar or a regular Zoom call. There's going to be some amazing production elements to this. And of course, we're celebrating the great work that's been happening, and you don't want to miss it. And the awards are followed by, in true IC3 fashion, the closing reception and, yes, a virtual dance party. We try not to take ourselves too seriously here, and we do want to have some fun, so save some energy for that as well. Now, use the networking feature actively, all right, to invite one-to-one, face-to-face discussions. This is the real magic of the IC3 Festival. We want you to connect, perhaps create a group room, have tea, coffee, lunch, and strike up conversations. So these are so many different ways to connect. And I also have a few big announcements that I would like to share. Firstly, I'm very excited to announce the first 6 of the 15 founding members of the IC3 Institute Consortium for Global Universities. And they are Huron-Western in Canada, Indiana University, Bloomington, United States, Lehigh University, United States, San Diego State University, United States, the University of Newcastle, Australia, and the University of Tennessee at Knoxville in the United States. These institutions are leading the way on the mission to bring counseling in every school, and I encourage other institutions to join them. So come for the meet and greet tomorrow, identify the Institute folks and learn a little bit more about the consortium. It's an amazing group of leaders. Next, today I'm extremely excited that we are today launching the IC3 Institute accreditation. And this is a game changer for the counseling worldwide. And the IC3 Institute accreditation will recognize high schools that are fully invested in student success by following the best practices of career and college counseling. And, again, this is really going to be a game changer. We want you to visit the IC3 Institute accreditation room from 8 to 9 p.m. IST, but of course, that's 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. ET. Just check your schedule, and the mobile app and the platform should be showing in your own time zone. But all of that is really there, and applications for accreditation are now open, and we invite you to be among the first to become IC3 Institute accredited schools. We're also hosting for the first time ever an IC3 Institute fundraiser. Of course, I mentioned that the IC3 Institute is an established nonprofit organization. So join us today, just in a little while, to learn more about the Institute's work and to show your support for the mission to bring counseling in every school. And no donation is too small, and it's really the engagement and your support that matters. So now, and I didn't leave you much time, Ganesh. I now want to welcome my friend and colleague, mentor, Ganesh Kohli, founder of the IC3 movement, for his address, Coming Back from the Future. Ganesh, of course, has been inspiring many of us for many years and continues to do that. He's an innovator and a leader, except he leads a little differently. He leads through service, and he leads through love. If you've not had a chance to meet Ganesh, please find him this week and have a chance to do that. Welcome, Ganesh. Over to you.
Thank you, Jim. Wonderful. I want to keep us on time. So firstly, thank you. That is such a encouraging start. And I know many of us are here, tired from a long day, and, there's so much going on. Some of us are up really early in the morning. I saw some friends in California that are up. That's almost like in the middle of the night. So I'm going to talk very briefly. Now that I have only 7 minutes left, I'm going to just make this really, really crisp. I'm going to talk about a shift in mindset. Since the theme of this festival is change, I'd really like you to look at what is currently happening with advising young people and with decision making. For the most part, the current approach is that we go from the present to the future. We look at the past, we see what's going on in the present, we do certain things in the present, and then we'll walk into the future. And, so when a student gets to 8th grade, what do you want to do? What do you like? Okay, let's try this out. And, they pursue something, and then they'll get to 10th grade or 11th grade, do certain things, and then move on to a certain college, etc. I'm really inviting all of us to acknowledge that history does not repeat itself with careers and colleges, and that a new approach to career and college counseling is to actually come back from the future into the present. And this is a pedagogy that the IC3 Institute and the Counseling Laboratory also talks about. But really, it is about coming back from the future into the present. If this is who I want to be when I'm 35, where do I need to be at 30? Where do I need to be at 25? Where do I need to be at 20? And therefore, what college should I go to? What major should I pursue? Or even come further, back from the future and say, what subjects should I choose in class 9 and 10 and 11? So I would strongly encourage the approach of coming back from the future rather than walking into the future. And I'll give you some examples to highlight this. In 2001, I met a student who told me that he was a hacker and he actually got into other people's emails and he snooped into people's inbox and did all kinds of things which seemed to be rather mischievous. And my immediate instinct was, well, this is a criminal activity. I may need to report this. But then instead of actually being in the present and then walking into the future, I actually stepped into the future with this student and said, this activity that you really are enjoying, is there something that belongs in the future that we are not seeing. And that's when we kind of started to look at where the future of computer science was. And we realized that ethical hacking and information security was going to be a big deal. Because we looked at the future, came back into the present moment, we stopped looking at his interests of hacking as a crime, but showed him the light and said information security is going to be such a lucrative profession in the future. And that was the approach. So you really did not then, throw this student into the, into the well for doing what he did. You then started to look at what he could do with this in the future. Another example would be, who would have imagined that the top universities in India today, or some of the new age universities, have no engineering programs that are drawing people. Some of them are getting really competitive, but without engineering, right? I mean, there are so many of those universities with liberal arts education, and in their first year itself. So, for years we treated humanities and and commerce as the stepchild. The bright ones would go in many countries, not just here in South Asia. But it's so important. If only some people who were career and college counselors at that stage had seen in 2005 or 2010 the future, and actually encourage more people to take on humanities or liberal arts, etc., we would not have the sort of crisis you see amongst engineers today. There's a lot of unemployability among engineers, and I'm an engineer myself. A lot of those who do a variety of different engineering actually end up in the IT industry. But again, these are not, if you're a passionate engineer, you must do engineering. But if someone was interested in sociology or the social sciences or in psychology, and they were actually pushed into a science stream, that's something that if we had seen the future and come back from the future, we would have definitely not done that. And lastly, I want to give you one example. I met a dentist in Hyderabad who told me that he was fed up of looking at ugly teeth for 5 years. He was 26 years old. If only he had gone into the future and gone in his 11th grade and worked for 2 days with a dentist and looked into people's mouth, if he had experienced the future, he would have come back from the future and not chosen dentistry as his profession. So giving people the exposure, a taste of the future is critical, and that is what that's what we'd want to do. I just want to share one last piece. A student that you teach today at 9 a.m. in the morning, and you tell him that whatever you are teaching, he's going to use after 20 years, he's just going to lose interest. A student needs to taste what he studies today. He has to taste it. He has to taste what the future with that area would look like. So I would say that, our profession is very, very powerful, very, very critical. Career and college counseling for me is as important as any other area within schools. And I would encourage you to enjoy this festival over the next 2 days. Straight right now, within a minute, you will have several concurrent rooms open. Please move around the lobby, join the sessions and the conversations, and let us fully engage. Let us spend the time here in the virtual lobby, meeting with people, and continue this very important and profound work that we do. Thank you so much. Thanks, Jim, and thank you, everybody. We'll see you in the concurrent sessions. Thank you.